All right, let's do this. Let's play a little rapid fire, right? This is what we're gonna do. Love is in the air, right? We post
Mhm.
Valentine's Day, so we're gonna
Yep.
do a little QB NFL team matchmaker. That's what we're doing. We're
Mhm.
playing matchmaker on here. So I have a couple quarterbacks that are one on the trading block or free agents, or I even have one that's talking about coming out of retirement, right? So
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is I'm gonna name the player, and I want you to give me the team that you think they should go to. You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm
All right,
ready.
let's have some fun. Kyler Murray. What
The
team comes to mind for you?
Ooh, there he's being linked to a lot of teams, but I like the Atlanta Falcons for
Hmm.
Kyler Murray. I think this would be a very good opportunity for the Michael Penix situation because listen, as much as we like Penix, this is a health concern now. And so I
Mhm.
think this would be a healthy quarterback competition that you bring in. You would allow both guys to go in there and fight for it. Kyler has proven that he necessarily can't stay healthy and that's the same thing with Penix. So maybe what you do is you have these two guys, they duke it out, and then you have a better than average backup when you inevitably need somebody. The thought of Kyler in that offense with those weapons in that market is exciting to me. And as much as Miami keeps getting called out and certain other teams getting called out, you can't you can't send him everywhere. And the Miami Dolphins have a Tua problem. And if they're gonna bring Kyler Murray, it would have to require him coming in on a very cheap deal, which I just do not see happening. So I think if a logic prevails, this is a logical option if he is in fact out of Arizona.
I never thought about that combination. I actually like it though. And I like Kyler Murray to the Atlanta Falcons for the reasons of Drake London, Kyle
Yep.
Pitts, Bijan Robinson, his mobility, he's athletic, right? And I think he's another offensive weapon that can be utilized
Yeah.
with the rest of those offensive weapons. And I think honestly, if they get Kyler Murray, that situation could be put them in contention for being
Yeah.
one of the better offenses in the NFC, and then even projecting it forward, right? You look at the Atlanta Falcons with Kyler Murray. This might be the best offensive skill set that Kyler Murray has had throughout his entire career. So
Yep.
could be an upgrade for both teams. I went Kyler Murray. I went Kyler Murray to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I
That's what I
like that.
went
It was
with.
my other one too. Yep. I like that
I
one too.
I went with him to the Steelers. Listen, I'm not mad at the Steelers. I told you I'm not I didn't come from the brand of football where you need to go ahead and suck, right? And we set our tables to go ahead and be the worst team in the NFL to take a swing at a quarterback and see what happens. I'm not mad at the Pittsburgh Steelers for saying, you know what, we want to win. We want to continue to win. We don't want to be bad. I have no issue with anybody never not wanting to be bad at anything, right? So
Yeah.
I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go get Kyler Murray. If it works out, you have a quarterback for the next 5 years. You can transition some things, continue to draft well. And Kyler Murray, like I said, is a playmaker, X factor. He can help elevate this offense that we know is depleted of skilled options, right? Outside of DK Metcalf and, their running back combination. So I like Kyler Murray to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I like it too. The reason I went Atlanta over Pittsburgh is just knowing who Kyler is as a person. I think from a market and expectation standpoint, Atlanta is a softer landing spot for him, and I think he has a better opportunity to thrive there. Whereas Pittsburgh is one of the toughest markets to go to. Their expectations are absolutely through the roof, and I just don't. Kyler is not a cold weather quarterback. Let's just say
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
Let's
I
just
get
say that.
that. And you talk about their division, right? Playing in the
Yep.
NFC South with the
Just a
Atlanta
tough
Falcons.
spot for my boy. Tough spot
Yeah.
for my boy.
I like that. And he never get mad at going to Magic City, right? He'll be with Magic City. Um, all right, let's rock and roll. Tua Tagovailoa, what NFL team do you have for him?
This is a tough one because the reality is it's more than likely the Miami Dolphins. I don't know how they're going to offload this contract to anyone else. As much as I would like to see him get another opportunity, I'd like the Dolphins to move on from him. I don't see the landing spot. I don't see the team that's going to go take this contract on. Financially, they are in a horrible spot. And I think what they are going to have to do is they're going to have to eat this contract this year and bring somebody else in to have a quarterback competition and hope that because you made a change at the head coach, you can kind of revitalize potentially him or you can bring in healthy competition that just beats him out. I do not see another NFL team taking on that contract. I just with the health concerns and the concussions and the problems and quite frankly some of the things that Tua said out loud, I just don't see anybody taking a shot for him. So I put him at the Miami Dolphins because I just don't think it's going to happen anywhere else. I don't.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of unlikely things to happen, right?
Yep.
I mixed it up a little bit though. I didn't go with the Miami Dolphins. I went to a Tagovailoa to the Minnesota Vikings. One,
I like
he's
that.
familiar with that offensive scheme,
Yep.
right? Two, when you look at the Minnesota Vikings, we don't know if they're all in on JJ McCarthy. We don't know if they're all out on JJ McCarthy. We just know that they have questions, right? And when you have questions, you bring in a veteran quarterback that has had some success at some level, right? In the NFL. He has offensive weapons, right? He has Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, good running game, right? And one of the best play callers in Kevin O'Connell to
Yep.
work with, and seems like a quarterback guy, right? He doesn't seem like a Mike McDaniel coddle type of guy, but he seems like he understands the quarterbacking situation. And then third of all, if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I'm gonna tell you what makes me think about eating this contract is paying attention to certain media situations. I think Justin Jefferson has been a little bit more vocal
Yes.
than usual, right? And it's
No,
because
100%.
he hasn't been getting the football. And if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I'm looking at this. I'm saying we may have a bad quarterback, and then my star receiver is going to want to get the hell out of town. So I bring in Tua Tagovailoa because I'm like, at the very least, I know that this guy baseline is that he can feed wide receivers, right? He did it with Tyreek Hill, he did it with Jalen Waddle. So I think the Minnesota Vikings, if you look at any team, they might be the most motivated to take on the contract because
Yeah.
it's not just about the quarterback for them. It's about their star wide receiver in Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I had a funny interaction with Justin Jefferson at the Gatorade Hydration Studio
Mhm.
where I told him I was going to throw him more touchdown passes than he received this
Wow.
all year long, and
Okay.
he laughed an uncontrollable amount, and it was because I think he felt that in his gut. Like it was like, yeah, this catching 2 touchdown passes for Justin Jefferson, as good of a guy as he is, that's not right. Like it's not you're not taking advantage of the talent that you have with Justin Jefferson. So that man needs to get the football, whether it's from Tua or from another quarterback. I do not think that it can be JJ McCarthy. Let's just say that.
Yep. All right, let's do this. Kirk Cousins. What NFL team do you have for him?
Here's my opportunity to get that football to you, JJ, because I'm bringing him back. He's going back to the
Mm.
Vikings. He did not want to leave Minnesota. He wanted to play with Kevin O'Connell. His family wanted to be there. Atlanta sold him something, and they lied. That's it. They sold him that he was going to be the guy, and then they went and drafted Michael Penix, and he did not. He is on the record saying that is not what they told me. He literally left Minnesota because Minnesota said, "Listen, we are going to draft a young quarterback." And then
Mhm.
the opposite happened, right? The exact same thing happened to him in Atlanta. They have renegotiated his contract already to make room for him to go do this exact move. I think this is a home run for the Minnesota Vikings. And if the reality is, if JJ McCarthy can't handle the competition, then JJ McCarthy is not your starting quarterback.
Mhm.
Kirk Cousins is the right guy to come in. He knows the system. He knows the guys. You know what you're going to get. The baseline here, the floor for Kirk Cousins is much higher than what you have with JJ McCarthy right now. And the ceiling is the potential to be very, very good. So if I'm them, based off the contract and based off of the knowledge and the system, I'm going to get Kirk Cousins and this deal's done as soon as possible.
I didn't think about that one, and I'm kinda pissed I didn't think about it, honestly. Because I like that one a lot, him going back to Minnesota. Like you said, it's a feel-good story, returning back home, he's comfortable with the entire situation. I went Kirk Cousins, and you talk about a stay put, I kept him put with the Atlanta Falcons,
Mhm,
and for reasons being, like you talked about, right? He got screwed over in
mhm,
some capacity with the last regime, right?
for
But you know
sure.
who's there now? Kevin Stefanski. Kevin
Mhm,
Stefanski consistently wanted him at the Cleveland Browns. Now he finally has his guy. The Atlanta Falcons, I believe, won 4 of their last 5 games when Kirk Cousins was starting, right? There's a lot of momentum there. If you have Kirk Cousins in the building, starting healthy, then you can say, you know what? We can probably win 10, 11 games next year, right? And
yeah.
potentially win this division with the offensive skill pieces, but also with the defensive pieces that they have now, on the defensive side of the football. So I went Kirk staying in Atlanta because I hope Atlanta goes about saying we're gonna right our wrongs. I think Arthur Blank clearing house means that he's sitting there saying, "Yeah, I think Kirk is the better quarterback." Right. So we'll see how that plays out.
See which
Last,
organization rights the wrongs, whether it's Minnesota or Atlanta. One of them's
yeah,
gonna do
right.
it.
They get,
I
yeah,
went
they
for it
both
for
get
the
to get it
exact
right.
same reason. I went for the exact same reason.
Yep. All right, let's do this. Derek Carr.
So this one was an interesting one for me because obviously it requires him coming out of retirement. And I went with him going to Miami for the reason of if they keep Tua, which is what I am projecting, they're going to need somebody to come in on a very, very
Oh, yeah.
friendly deal. Very friendly. And I think that is the type of Derek is a fierce competitor. He is a guy that is very well liked in every locker room he has ever competed in. And he is not a soft quarterback at all. He is the exact opposite. He is a tough quarterback. He's a guy that played through a major back injury. And I think this would potentially be the right move if you keep Tua. The other option for me was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought either of those options would be good. If you're going to throw, the Pittsburgh Steelers have made it very clear. They do not intend to bottom out. So if they're not bottoming out and they're going to go get a quarterback, this fits the mold for them. And I think that could end up being a very good option for them, especially when you think about the system with Mike McCarthy. So I think either of those options could play out. Now, that requires Derek to come back, but this is not a rumor for no reason. And homeboy looks like he misses football. Just go watch Instagram. Like, this is a thing now. He watched Phillip Rivers come back and play, and he's much younger than Phillip Rivers. I think every quarterback is sitting there going, you know what? I kind of want to give it another spin around the block if I can. And I think Derek Carr might just do that.
Paige Dimakos, listen, this is where I'm going with this. Derek Carr, I left it blank as far as the NFL team. The reason I left it blank, I'm standing on business for the city of New Orleans and all of my Saints fans and friends, right? Because listen, the way Derek Carr ended things, the way Derek Carr handled himself, right? We're not tolerating that. And I'll say this: that is he a tough guy? Yeah, but there were a lot of things that he handled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in a very distasteful way from a
I agree.
perspective of stand up, right? You know what I mean? Where the girl just said stand up. That's what we wanted you to do in New Orleans. New Orleans is a city where we're not very angry people all the time, right? We're not throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. We're not cussing out the players all day long. We just want you to play hard and give it what you got, right? That's all.
Yeah.
And Derek Carr unceremoniously left the New Orleans Saints, right? And he also left them a very complex situation. So I've just decided not to give this no energy, right? New Orleans Saints fans
I'm
are on
with
the
that.
Tyler Shuck. They in a good spot. We don't want Derek Carr linked to the New Orleans Saints in any capacity. So
I'm with
I
you.
had to just stand on business for my family who I know are Saints fans, and I just left it blank. We're not giving that no more energy. Derek Carr, you retired. We don't really care what you do past this. So that's why I left it.
Listen, if my co-host is standing on business, I gotta stand right next to him. So sorry, the draft club is officially saying Derek Carr can't go play in the NFL. You're gonna have to go to the CFL, UFL, or some FL, and it's not gonna be the NFL. So
Yeah, he
sorry,
just
buddy.
yeah, he can
Just
just do what he
just bring
want.
that energy somewhere else, pal.
Yeah,
Just bring
just
it
do
somewhere
whatever the
else.
hell he want, right? Like just let
Yeah.
him go do what he wants. So
New Orleans and
that's all.
Chicago stand together. We've discussed this. These are two tough cities. We don't like the BS. So Derek, listen, we not about it. It's about getting shucked tonight. We already know that, and it's not about Derek Carr anymore. Okay,
Yep.
so time is
Yep.
over. Time is over.